All right, welcome everybody. This is my How She Did It interview series, and I have the great pleasure today of interviewing one of my beloved graduates from the Thriving Studio Owner Program, Mindy. Thank you for being here, Mindy. And I'd love for you to start us off, Mindy, giving the audience a little sense of what brought you to yoga studio ownership and like how you got here and where you are.
Okay, I'm going on 4 years of owning my studio. It will be 4 years in July. And I bought it from somebody else who was already existing. And I'm a certified yoga instructor, but I choose not to teach. I choose just to run the business side because that's what lights me up, the business of yoga. So at the end of last year, I was just thinking, setting my intentions for the new year. How do I grow? A yoga teacher is always going to new trainings and so on and so forth. Well, how do I grow on the business side? And what do I need? And I just started looking up business coaches online. I found you somewhere, Kiki. I don't know if it was Instagram or what, clicked on it, started following you for a while, and and other people. And then I said, she's the one for me. I could tell you were smart and savvy and stylish, and also you were going to relate to the emotional side of the business, which you call the soul and strategy, or the being an empath. And because if you're in the yoga business, you're sensitive. That's why we do yoga. I mean, we're sensitive. So, and I'm pretty good with business, but I couldn't kind of nail down how to be consistent. I'm in I wouldn't say a seasonal area for tourism, but just there's such a seasonality to the business. I'm in the Northeast, I have seasons, and besides that, it's just the ebb and flow of people's schedules, and I was really looking for consistency in attendance and income, and I didn't know how to do that, and that's what I needed help with. So that was the number one thing I believe I put down on the intake form was because of seasonality, I need consistency.
Yeah, I remember that. And I also remember, I have such deep memories of our business breakthrough call because we had such a connection. I knew on some level that we were meant to work together because I felt just really connected to you. Like I really saw you and understood you. And I felt like you saw me too. It's like there was this there was a resonance. And yet I do have this very fond memory of we had this whole big discussion. We had the plan. You were like, I love it. This is awesome. What's the investment? And then I told you the investment, and I'm pretty sure the exact words were, you've got to be kidding me. So I'd love for you to tell our audience, obviously you went from you've got to be kidding me to yes, within a relatively short time you signed up. So what shifted for you? What internal work did you do to gather the courage, or what changed for you that made you a yes?
Well, like I said, I had chosen you by looking at other business coaches, but I hadn't researched the cost of a business consultant. So that was really my downfall. So in my head, I had a figure which was just lower. Who knows what that was made up of? It was kind of like I think I told you, my little nest egg. I had a great November, and I was going to take that extra money and really save it for my slow August. And that number was in my head. So I hadn't done my work. So after, I fell off my chair, and then we scheduled another call so I could have a little while to think about it. I think a couple days. I did check in with a fellow yoga studio owner down south who's a friend of mine, and we compare things. And she had a coach when she opened up, not like me 4 years in, and things seemed to be in alignment. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, all right, I get it now. It was just me, being naive, and I'm not usually like that. I usually look into cost, but I didn't know I was going to be so hooked and so ready. I need this. Like, no matter what it costs, I need this to grow, not only professionally, but personally. This is the only way that I grow in yoga, because I don't teach. I have to grow on the business side. And like you taught me, if you're not growing, you're dying. And I knew I needed that. And I think I told you that I get bored. So it's always like, what's next? Like, I've already doubled my studio. I've already done several things that were on my bucket list for the studio. So it's what's next? It's invest in me, invest in the studio, so I can continue to grow it and offer my community what they need.
Yeah, like, so I want to talk a little more about that, because I feel like you did such a good job in the program of really understanding and embodying how, if you're going to grow your business, you must grow yourself, like in your own body and in your own heart and in your own mind. And so I know that one of your challenges was, having recurring revenue and like steady cash flow. And, we can talk in a little bit about how we address that with the new pricing strategy. But there was this other piece that you're talking about right now, which was more like, how do you feel as a business owner? So can you speak a little to like some of the challenges you were working with before we started working together?
Yeah, well, you had nailed it in our initial meeting when you said I was an empath, and most people that get into this line of work are empaths. And I also noticed my energy was just being drained. So I knew you were a good fit for me. And well, how can you not run a business and not have emotion connected to it?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe if I was just selling like tires, I don't know. It's just I think it's an emotional, well, tires, that could be an emotional. It's emotional if you care about what you do. So if I want my clients to be happy, and I want my staff to be happy, and I want to be happy, stuff gets to you. And one thing you taught me, which you nailed it on the head for me, you said, Mindy, you're tough on the outside, but you're not tough on the inside. And that's, you nailed it. So you definitely saw me, heard me, listened. And, I would tell you clearly, I'm fine with confrontation. I can talk to anybody about anything. I can have hard conversations, even though you helped me with those. But on the inside, I was just taking things personally, because I just want people to enjoy what I created without the complaints, but I would take one complaint and struggle over it instead of hearing the 20 great things that I would hear every day. Thank you for this place. Thank you for listening and all that thank you for holding space. Thank you for having this community. It would be that one thing, like, where's the candy dish? Why'd you take that away? And then I'd be, I don't know, that's like, my personality. I told you that I have anxiety, so it was the over analyzing.
Yeah,
but I learned,
and I think the desire to please, which I think a lot of us studio owners, like you don't get into yoga studio ownership if you don't want to be of service, like, and if you're not an empath. Like, you could get into a million other small businesses, but like, if you get into yoga studio ownership, it's because you really care about people. And I think the challenge is that a lot of us, we prioritize everyone else's comfort and happiness, our staff and our students, and then we start to self-sacrifice, our own financial well-being or mental sanity, or, for a lot of studio owners, like, they really work all hours of the day and night and really don't even have much time for their life and their relationships, so yeah, I think that was another piece of what you and I were working on, is really owning your worth, and really understanding the value that you bring. Can you speak at all to that? Like, how that shifted for you as we were working together?
Yeah. You also taught me stand in your power. So I remember that a lot when it's a hard decision. Not even a hard decision, when it's, I don't even know how to say. Well, I'll say, let me start with this. I've helped my staff with that, because that's around self-worth. And I also told you they have a fear of losing numbers, not money. It's like most of my staff, it's not about the money for them, it's about their numbers, which I think is tied into I was calling it ego, and then you were calling it self-worth. So I've been teaching them to stand in their power, know what they're worth, know how to ask for money, because sometimes everybody works at other studios and they'll bring that up, and or if they do extra work for me, they don't know to ask for money or how to ask for it. And I'm like, you also taught me there's energy around money. So I'm trying to teach them, know your worth, know that you're valuable with your training and your skills, and have boundaries on that so people don't take advantage of you. And so I'm learning that too, with all my skills and what I provide for the clients and the staff. I'm standing in my power that this is my risk and my investment, and I'm the one paying the rent at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I need them, they need me, but at the end of the day, it's my risk and my reward.
Yes.
So I'm standing in my power with that.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I know one of the things that you and I, like one of really our biggest project that we did was designing and implementing a tiered membership system. So going, pricing strategy. So moving from the drop-in class pack model, which pretty much almost all of us start with, because we don't even see another option. And that was a big journey, not only of the mind, but I know of the heart too. Like I know it was a really epic journey, and so I know there were some highs and lows in there, and you're still even waiting to see all the fruits of that labor. But can you speak a little to what that brought up, or like what challenges that brought up as I know you knew it was the right thing, but it also was a challenge, to move through it.
Yeah, I knew it was the right thing. When I came to you, I knew the class card model was broken. I knew that. I'm also, been a gym member at various gyms, and I know they don't work that way. I know they also have major, major volume, and yoga studios don't have the volume of the gym. But I came to you knowing there was a better way, and then I didn't know how to do it, and I needed you to help me implement it. So really, I hit up the clients and the staff, and also I started with desk staff the same time I started with you. Like right before, even though that would have been one of your suggestions to me, I did that in January. Like I was ready to take the leap. So I kind of hit up everybody with a triple whammy. I hit them up with the prices were raised. So everybody's like, oh no, $1 more for a class. But what's the price of organic eggs in a Starbucks? It's all what people want to put their money towards. Then the tiered membership was, what? I've never done this. I don't have to do this at other yoga studios. It just required more thinking and decision making. And, confusion can lead to indecision with anything. So, they didn't want to think about it. And also the triple whammy is by the time I set it up, I'm heading into my summer here. And summer is erratic with yoga for a lot of reasons. Our summer's so short. So it's, I want to be outside. I don't think I'm going to have a consistent practice. I don't know what my kids are doing. I have vacation. So it was kind of the timing, the price increase, and then the whole new concept of a tiered membership. So the teachers, again, were afraid of that the change would bother the clients. They were afraid of their numbers. The desk staff was just being trained on everything. So now it's like one more thing, Mindy. Now there's all these like weird prices and I have to answer all these questions. And then the students were like, you took away my class card, which was super easy and blah, blah, blah. Even though I'm toting the benefits and I've trained the teachers and the desk staff. It was a lot of pushback and I just had to hang with it. But, it's growing pains.
Yeah.
Just like anything, you have to go through growing pains any growing pain is hard to come out on the other side. I had growing pains with desk staff. I trained one young lady in everything, and then she turned around and left because it didn't work for her. And then I learned my lesson. I had her, I know I'm getting off topic, had her write the manual and train the new people, and then hired 3 instead of 1. So that was all a life lesson. And, you know, I had the growing pains all through the tiered membership. But, you know, people they're settling into it.
So do you have any advice for like one of my future mentees who is going through this shift and navigating, like anytime there's a change? I mean, we all kind of struggle with change. Change is just uncomfortable, you know, for everyone, especially for our students. And I think that's one of the reasons why we studio owners, we sometimes get stuck in like the same pricing, or even though if we know it's not working, you know, we feel afraid to increase our prices or whatever, make these shifts. So do you have any advice for my future mentees on like how to navigate the, you know, the crabby customers, or maybe your staff that has, you know, you and I hunted out that your staff members, some of them had a lot of scarcity and fear mentality. So what would you recommend to the other student owners on how to work with that?
Okay, a few things. First of all, you did say do your pricing menu a month prior so people can get comfortable. I didn't do training in that month for a number of reasons, because my desk staff was new. They were just learning other things. I had a lot going on that month. So I would start training them to answer questions in the month that you're rolling it out before it officially happens. And then when you do a flyer, I would do a better visual, because I was doing it quick and I just did like line items. And then, you know, when I actually unveiled it, I did more, you know, people are more visual. I did, you know, 4 classes is $48, charged every 30 days. That's $12 a class. And then different colors. Then for my next level. So I would say a better visual,
Okay.
better training. And where I said I just had the triple whammy, I would say you might as well just rip off the Band-Aid anyway and do it all at once. If I had separated it and said, okay, tiered membership, okay, next month, now I'm raising the prices, you know, and the season is neither here or there because everybody's going to be different. That would have been too much. Like, oh, she's changing things every month. I want stability. I'm not, this isn't for me. Like, that would have been way too much. So just rip off the Band-Aid and go for it and stand in your power and know your value, like you taught me. And if they leave because they're not understanding your power, your value. And if they leave, they may come back. And you taught me that there's a 15% churn rate anyway of people leaving for whatever reason. I'm pretty good about tracking everything. I literally cannot say anybody left because of the tiered membership or the price increase. And I have different ways where I have that documented. You had me do market research. That's in one of the modules. There's a whole set of questions, and you send it to 10 or 12 people. I offered them a free class if they sent that back to me. And then I put it in a big chart because I needed a visual. And I forgot what most of the questions were. But the one that stuck with me is, what's your number one barrier to coming into a yoga studio? You know, because they could be doing it in front of YouTube, the rec center. Outdoor yoga is big around here in the summer, but the yoga studio obviously is pricier. Not one person said it was about money. They all said it was about time, and I had a nice cross-section of my target audience, which is busy women professionals, ages 25 to 64 is my primary. My secondary is affluent female seniors, 65 plus. So everybody from, a young mother to older working professional said time. So that was amazing. And I tried to kind of share things with my team so they could see my rationale. so they could see the method to my madness. So we have a group, Facebook group. So I would share like stats and things like that, so they know like Mindy's not crazy, or her coach is not crazy. Because they're like, what is she doing now? Like, I don't understand this, and I work other places and they're not doing this kind of thing. And one more point to the churn rate. I use a program that you recommended called Loyal Snap. So it's a software program for lead generation and retention, and it builds loyalty and attendance. And it's synced in with MindBody in my newsletter program. And it's $200 to $300 a month. Well, now I'm in another trial with them. I didn't originally do the client dashboard, if you know what that part is.
Yeah.
And you get, they tell you who hasn't been to your studio and whatever, 3 to 6 months. You set the time frame, send them automatically send them an email. It's all set up for you. I do it every morning, just click it. So that's really the churn rate, people who have left. Now, one reason was because of the rates or the new tiered membership. I moved, I had my first grandbaby, I had surgery, I have an injury, I'm busy, I'll be back. And some of those people have come back right away because I gave them a nudge, and I noticed, Darlene, where are you? We miss you. Darlene shows up on the schedule the next day. Oh, I've been training for a marathon, but I'm coming back. So that was really helpful to know that nobody left because of the tiered membership or the price increase. One person said I had taken off a weekly class and made it a monthly. They said it was because of that and whatever. I gave them other options to come back, but that really solidified for me. And that just happened. So I probably haven't even talked to you about that because I just started with the client dashboard.
That's
so even
great.
though, I trusted you and said, okay, 15% churn rate, it wasn't about the studio. It wasn't about changes or the way I run it or the teacher. Never gotten a teacher complaint really, or a bad one or whatever. It was about them. It's about their life and what's happening, and not about anything.
Which is such a relief, because I think so many of us, when people leave, we take it personally. We're like, oh my God, what did I do? Could I have done something different?
It's like, did I say something, or are they really following their favorite teacher who had to leave? And when it comes down to it, it's not.
Right.
It's just our life changes. Like, we've left different yoga studios or gyms for whatever reason.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know, and I want to celebrate, there's one other piece of this that was such a epic win. Like I said, there was like highs and lows. It felt like such a triumph, to roll out the pricing strategy and to meet, the challenges with your staff and your students, and to really have these graceful conversations that you had. But I do want to celebrate that in anticipation of the price change, we created this cash injection strategy where we invited the students to purchase their favorite class card. You were very clear that you wanted to use the words price change or price options, where have new price.
Yes, I did not want to use the C word of change.
I know you wanted to use options.
Yes.
I remember you were so clear on that.
Or pricing options, not change.
Right.
They don't like that word.
Right. So can you tell our people, would you mind sharing, like in, March, which was about 4 or 5 weeks after we started, can you tell them about what happened in your sales that month? Because it was so amazing.
Yeah. Well, normally, first quarter is pretty good for me anyway, because it's winter here. And even with all of our snow and ice, people get out and get to yoga. So I normally have a good March. Normally, if I had to average out my months, I do like 11,000 gross per month. So that month was $23,000.
Oh my God.
So, they were buying class cards like a fire sale. And I have a 1-year expiration date.
Yeah.
So I haven't even addressed that. I don't even use it up. I will say a couple of things. I slowly got rid of another class card level in the middle, my 20 class card, without anybody knowing. If I took too much away, when I had the fire sale, I had just a 10 and a 30. And they were stocking up on the 30 it was going out of style. So that gave me a nice cushion. So it's more advice to your newbies. When you do that, I remember somebody on the call last week, I don't know who it was because you have a lot of newbies, said she was nervous about your fee. Well, I got it all paid off.
Yeah.
So I put it on a credit card to get my points,
Right.
double dipping. So that was a way to just get that out of the way. So
Yeah.
I already paid my money back from the investment of your coaching program before I even unveiled the tiered pricing, because they went nuts. Like, one lady bought like 4 class cards. I literally gave her money back because she was a senior citizen, and I didn't raise the senior citizen rates. She just freaked out. And I'm obviously not there to just take all the money. I just saw her in person. I'm like, you don't need all this. I'm refunding you. I gained a loyal client for life because I'm very honest.
Yeah.
I said, your class card didn't even go up. You didn't have to buy 4. Like, I thought she was buying them for other people.
Oh,
like, you spent $400.
Oh my God.
She was like, thank you. So, yeah, that cash injection strategy worked well for that. It's exactly like you said it would happen. In that whole month, they are going to stock up. And then it led me to set another strategy for another cash injection pricing strategy that you and I talked about. I'm starting a summer sizzler program. So June 1st to September 1st, you and I worked on the pricing. I've already sent out the newsletter like right after Memorial Day so they could think about it for the week, and they can't even buy it early. They have to buy it on June 1st. So
Okay.
I'm already getting emails. Can I put my class card on hold? When I buy that? And what I did different from this year, from last year, is I did it all in one segment. June through September is one price, because it's better to get all the money up front than just monthly. And in the past, I just did it monthly. Like last year was like special $99 a month, no obligation, because I knew the teachers and the college students don't really overlap. I get more cut, But this year it's one price and get your money's worth or whatever. And I'm going to have the money up front when everybody somehow leaves the country in August and nobody's around.
Right.
That's my slowest time, the last 2 weeks in August. So I'm counting on that money. I have a goal of how many I want to sell. And yeah, I'm creating interest because it's not even available yet.
That's so great. And we're talking about today sort of these 2 different strategies of the cash injection, which is really helpful when you're building this recurring revenue model, which is what you and I spent all this time on. So there's like this one strategy that you can do a few times a year of like a big bump, which is great to have for now and forevermore. But they also help us to navigate this time of growth when you're, implementing, and now like really starting to get your people transferred over to membership. It's just a way to like give you some time to build out those recurring revenue strategies. So yeah, I can't wait to hear how the summer sizzler goes. You'll have to shoot me a message.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, awesome. So what I'd like to finish with today is, what's next for you? I mean, my wish for each one of you guys, of my graduates, is to continue the momentum and the progress that you've made once you graduate. So tell us, what are the next couple of projects you've got your eye on? What do you want to grow in the next, few? I know it's the summer, so you might want to chill out and be with your family, but what else is up for you around next steps?
Yeah, I don't chill out for a couple of reasons. Because in my other life, I worked in advertising and I was a media planner. So when you're a planner, like you are, you're always planning 3 to 6 months out, at least.
True that.
So whatever I know, for whatever and other businesses that I've been in, whatever you do now affects your business 90 days from now. So there's no slowing down, because I have the summer to set up a successful fall.
Yes.
So I'm going to, before I tell you what I'm going to work on, I want to tell you just 3 or two things that I'm really taking with me and have it in my head all the time, and
Awesome.
that I'm teaching my staff. Scarcity and urgency are
Yeah,
two
tell
big
tell my
things.
audience about that because we talk about
So
it.
scarcity and urgency, because I think we all have trouble filling up workshops for whatever reason. I do. I think people's mindset is it's extra money. I want to wait till the last minute to see if anything better comes along. I don't know. That's the feeling I get. So scarcity and urgency means you create a set number. So we're having a yoga wheel workshop. I have a teacher that designs her own yoga wheels. It's a prop. And we have a limit of 15 students. Now, I
Okay.
could probably fill up more. I think she probably has made 20 or 25. But, we want to limit in the room so everybody gets attention. And we want to put a limit on it so people don't wait till the last minute to sign up. Like there's only 15 spots. Well, that's the scarcity. And then the urgency is two ways. You taught me like first 5 get $5 off, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
My people tend to respond to an early bird discount,
Okay.
which works when you're working. I work with the teachers on setting the price. I don't know about other studios. So this one is between 30 and 35. If we don't know what to say, I say, let's go higher, like you taught me, because then you have the options for discounting. Always go higher.
Yeah.
So now we're doing early bird by June 15th is only 30. After June 15th, it's 35.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already 25% full, and I just started advertising it.
Fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so great.
So when the teachers say, I don't want you to say no walk-ins, Mindy, and I don't want you to put a deadline on things, I have to explain, this is what I learned from my coach, and this gets people moving along. Like I went to a yoga retreat a couple of weeks ago, which because I was on my call while I was driving there. And I remember just being on Facebook and the teacher running it said, 3 spots left. And I was like, whoa, I can't wait till the deadline. Let me get up and get my credit card because I really want to go. So if you want to do something, like it just makes people make a decision. Because so many people are indecisive these days. Yeah. The other thing that's huge for me, professionally and personally, is problem solving. The steps that you taught me, and that's in one of the modules. And that I'm teaching to my staff when we're making a decision on how I think and how I want them to think, and we'll work together if we have to cut a class or change it. It's helping me actually in my personal life too. So you ask yourself, is it an emergency? Odds are it's not, right? Like what's really an emergency?
Right.
So you're like, okay, I don't have to decide now. And then I see you like beaming at me. I'm getting like all emotional.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
I know. I'm going to miss you so much. And then you said come up with like, toss around 3 ideas that you can meditate on, sit on, breathe, take some time, think about, just have some options. Yes. And I've done that with a couple of teachers on some lower attendance. And her option was different than mine. Okay, I'll try yours for a month and then, whatever. So just having those points in place have really helped me. So for income streams, my mind's always at work. I don't have a yoga teacher training. And I was adamant that I never would because I thought the markets everywhere is pretty saturated. I'm starting to think that way for 2020.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah. Continuing with, I told you I have a couple of Reiki masters. So continuing with using my space for Reiki training.
Oh, fun.
I think I told you I've reached out to homeschooling groups.
No, you didn't mention that.
Oh, I've done this from the beginning, and I finally connected with one at a holistic health fair. I'm reaching out to homeschooling groups because I'm trying to think who's available in the day that could use my space. Like you said, you have your downtime between like 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Or like your staff or your doors are closed or whatever. Same with everybody.
Right.
You're done with your noon class and then you're gearing up. So I've approached them about like renting out the space if they have meetings or classes or whatever with the kids or just
that's exciting.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'm thinking about for the future, I have 2 studios in one building on different levels. So I have like over 2,000 square feet. I think in the future, well, not I think, I know there's a wellness business down the street, and I know when her lease is up because we're kind of friendly, and I'm going to approach her and see if I can sublet. I know my landlord allows me to sublet, but she would have more visibility if she was in my building, and she has services that I don't have. Like she does readings, tarot cards,
Oh, cool.
messages. She does Reiki too. That's the only place where we overlap. Massage, which I don't have anymore. So we would complement each other. And she's on a street that's not visible to the public. But if I could maintain it, my logo brings in a third of my business. So I just had that thought last night, and I know her lease is up in November. So that's on my list for the fall to approach her.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. You know, you're reminding me, I was just looking a couple days ago at like my numbers from last month, my sales. And I do a report that is sales by service, so I can see like what's coming in my different revenue streams. And I saw that I noticed something like I kind of hadn't thought about it this way, but like my rentals, I have a pretty significant revenue stream. It's like 20% of my revenues each month are rentals. So I'm so glad you're bringing it up, because I think a lot of us don't think out of the box that way, but it's true. Like you want to optimize the space and the hours that are available as much as possible. So that sounds really exciting. That sounds really, really great.
Yeah, and I have a room that I was using as my healing room for foot reflexology, massage, and Reiki. And then the massage therapist left and the reflexologist left. And my accountability partner, the one that's down south, said rent out the room and get a consistent income.
Yes.
And I have a therapist in there, and she happens to be one of our yoga students. So we had the immediate trust, you know, for me to give her a key, and that's set income every month, rather than relying on how many massages are there going to be for the month.
Right.
And then I inspired her so much that she's becoming a yoga teacher. So we have,
fantastic.
Yeah. She says, I want to be totally holistic. She has a therapy dog. So there's a big dog in the studio when she's there. And it worked out great. Like you always think, oh, I don't want to deal with strangers, and it turns out it's people in the community. Yeah. Just like when you want me to delegate, I had to get somebody to fix the back end of my computer stuff. Like I always think I can go into WordPress or figure out why my computer's running slow. And I don't know that stuff. I finally had to put it out there like on Facebook, like in my neighborhood group. And lo and behold, I got one of our yoga students just doing exchange of yoga, and she fixes everything for me.
Oh, what a relief.
Yeah, instead of getting like a stranger that I wouldn't know and I'd have to trust them with my password, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like look in your own community, I would say, for the work traders and renting out space.
Yeah, that's what I do. Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you so much. This has been such a fun interview. Yeah. And for those of you guys watching, I want to invite you, if you want to chat more with me about growing your long-term recurring revenue and learning these cash injection strategies, you know, working with your team, and like Mindy and I were talking about, with your own inner energy and your mindset too, so that you really build a business that is actually enjoyable, like that is really like enjoyable on every level. You know, that's what my program is about. So I will make sure you get the link to my business breakthrough session. You can get it on my website, which is thrivingstudioowner.com, and just hit schedule a business breakthrough call. It's a free call, and we will on this call figure out exactly what your time and financial freedom goals are, and then I will help you identify like 4 or 5 steps of how to get there. You know, and if we both decide, like Mindy and I decided, that we thought we could do that together and that we would work well together, then I may invite you to be one of the mentees I take on this month. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much, Mindy. I so appreciate having you here, and I can't wait to hear about all the things you're cooking up.
Okay, thanks. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.